What's going on, everybody? C4, welcome back to the channel, and today we're here for a new Madden 23 realistic rebuild, where we are going to be using the 2023 NFL Draft and trying to use some of the top players in college football to take the New York Giants and get them back to the promised land. Now, as a diehard Philadelphia Eagle fan, every year when we have to rebuild teams within the NFC East, it's, they're not my favorite teams, but I've seen Giants, Commanders, I've seen a lot of Cowboys suggestions for rebuilds, so we'll get them done. And I mean, I've grown, I've evolved as a football fan, that while I hate these teams, there's at least players that I enjoyed, be it like I just like them from a neutral standpoint, or I love them coming through the college football ranks. So as always, fellas, for all of our Madden 23 uploads, I would love to smash 1,000 likes on the video, and make sure you leave a comment in the comment section below about what team you want to see rebuilt next. If it's your first time stopping by, you like what you see here, when the video's all said and done, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. So big picture, looking at this Giants team, really the biggest question is quarterback. What are we going to do? Daniel Jones ain't it. Let's just be honest, it ain't it. I don't know what quarterback I want to use. I don't know how good we're going to be. I don't know what range quarterback that we're going to be able to potentially get. But I don't think Daniel Jones is really our guy. I mean, Danny Dimes, he has ridiculous speed. We'll give him that. If we're doing pink slips, if you're doing some obscure series where you're trying to make it a challenge, maybe he's a fun quarterback. But trying to win a Super Bowl within a 5-year period, he's absolutely not that guy. We got Saquon Barkley. I'm a big fan of him. Sterling Shepard. I know someone that knows Sterling Shepard, so that's kind of cool. Kadarius Toney, Florida Gator bias, big fan. You look at the offense, guys that I really like. I like Saquon. I like Kadarius Toney. Evan Neal was an awesome draft pick, I thought. That was a frustrating pick. I've been an Andrew Thomas believer. So, offensively, there's some guys there. It's just the quarterback spot's a little bit rough. Flip to the defense. I love the pick of Kayvon Thibodeau. I thought that was a good value pick. He slipped a little bit further than what I expected. Darnay Holmes coming out of UCLA was one of my favorite corners of that class. And, it's a work in progress. This is not a particularly good team. They are very much their 76 overall rating. And it's not even like they got a lot of, you get the mentor tag for Tyrod Taylor, which is nice. Hopefully we'll be able to use that for, our actual starter, whenever that actually comes to fruition. Wide receiver room is what it is. You got, there could be some trade targets. Wan'Dale Robinson is a very interesting player at Kentucky. Good versatility type guy. Honestly, I might even consider making him our backup running back. I think will be more value for us there than anywhere else. It's just not working out with Kenny Galladay. I know there's a massive salary cap hit I assume I would take, but let's throw him up on the trade block and just see what we could potentially get between him and Darius Slayton. We just don't need both of them, and while they have this dev trade, now's the time to move them. They're going to because if they don't play, if we go through this full season, they're one of them, if not both of them, are going to lose their dev traits. And ideally, we could find a way to get Wan'Dale Robinson on the field sooner or later. I could live with a Sterling Shepard, Kadarius Toney, Wan'Dale Robinson wide receiver room if we can get some value for Galladay and Darius Slayton. Tight end, I moved Colin Johnson from wide receiver to tight end. He is our starting tight end right away. He's been pretty good for us in our Panthers franchise. So hey, let's give him a chance. Daniel Bellinger really surprised a lot of people at the Combine for running and testing as well as he did. He was kind of more of a, under the radar type guy. But, you look at the tight end room. Is there the guy there? Unlikely is what it is. Andrew Thomas, 79, only 23 years old with that star dev. One thing I did see is at right tackle, Tyree Phillips has a dev trait. I don't know if that's going to be worth maybe making him left guard, potentially. Just our weakest spot, maybe maximize the guy with the depth chart. He's only 25 years old, and by moving him there, he's instantly our best starter. Now, he's not as young as Izudu, the rookie out of North Carolina, but he has a dev trait. I think the dev trait in this scenario is a little bit more valuable. Defensively, what I'm doing is when we do this kind of preview for the teams, looking does anyone have mentor tags? Does anyone have something that is going to help the development of other guys on our team? And unfortunately, we're just not seeing any of those on this squad as it stands. And they've been helpful because we have a couple guys that are definitely developmental type players that could use any and all extra XP boosts. So is what it is. It's a bad team. We got a lot of work to do. Let's get into year one. Honestly, I think the Giants are so bad. They beat the Titans in real life, week 1. But I also think the Titans, you had this reputation like, oh, they were the 1 seed. The Titans are also a really bad team this year. We'll just go 4 wins. I don't think the Giants are particularly good. Let's just get 4. Let's get the easy staff points and, figure out our quarterback spot. So we got some interesting offers here for Darius Slayton. 2 players that I'm kind of looking at. One is Cam Dantzler, because I think he has a star dev. Obviously, we're giving up a little bit of a rating. Darius Slayton, 77 star. Dantzler, 74 star. And we also have from the Miami Dolphins, they are offering Raekwon Davis, 71 with, I'm pretty sure he is a star dev. I think I got to go to the D-line. I think our D-line's a little bit worse than our secondary right now. So let's get Raekwon, who can come in right away and play in the middle. And Raekwon Davis does have the star dev, is 25 years old. So it's pretty for 6'6", 330. Can absolutely plug the middle of this defense, and he is a scheme fit right away. And I'm going to hold on to Kenny Golladay. It's a realistic rebuild. This was a regular one. I'd be shipping off to the highest seller. But we're getting some pretty ridiculous offers, all things considered, that I would make in a heartbeat. And I'll show you that I'm resisting like Amon-Ra St. Brown. Sure, give me a younger wide receiver that's immediately higher upside, higher ceiling than Kenny Golladay. We also had Patrick Queen of the Ravens. That would be a dope pick. And that one there was the one that makes the most sense. I just don't think there's any way that the Ravens are giving up on Patrick Queen, especially for an expensive wide receiver in Kenny Golladay. Even though Kenny Golladay would be a massive, massive addition to that room. And that bends the lines of realism just a little too much for me. So last little piece of business, I did move Wan'Dale Robinson into the RB2 spot. Just because a running back can play wide receiver, but a wide receiver can't play running back as far as depth chart is concerned. So, 5'8", 185, goes from a 72 wide receiver to a 77 running back. Just a ridiculous skill set. And about halfway through year 1, Julian Love, our normal dev safety, gets a dev trade up to a star. That's a nice win for the back end of the defense. Him and Xavier Kinney forming a nice duo. And he's looking pretty solid now. 79 star dev. Now it's going to cost a lot more money to re-sign him, but I'll take it. For our contract negotiations, it's a fairly obvious, targets. First, we got Saquon. Yeah. Actually good for Saquon, honestly. Week 1, we're going to apply a little bit of real life because we get to see the Giants and the Titans game. Man, Saquon looks back better than ever. We'll get 3-year deal. He might be regressing a little bit during that contract, but it's what it is. But Saquon, man, hopefully he cashes out. I say that as somebody that's a Saquon fan, and also I'd love for him to be pretty good and then just get out of the division because he seems to always have a good game against the Philadelphia Eagles. Let's see if we can actually get our star dev punter here because we have so much money. Might as well re-sign everybody with the dev trade. Oh, just noticed, goddamn, they gave Evan Neal a face scan. Nice. And then in year 1, Giants actually overperformed what I thought they would do. 9-8. We set 4 wins. We could have went up to 7 and got even more staff points. Looking at it, we had a top 10 rushing offense, top 10 rushing defense, and honestly 15th in passing yards. Not too bad. Makes me optimistic that we get a quarterback in here and they're going to thrive in Brian Dable's scheme. Take a look at our stats to close out year 1. Daniel Jones was 15th in yards, 11th. Not a bad year. Interceptions are a little high, but that's an average year. That's not enough for me to re-sign him, but it's also not a brutal year. I take this one as more so when we actually get a great quarterback in. This is going to be a juicy offense for them to thrive, and Saquon is back. 1,600 rushing yards, 18 rushing touchdowns. That is outstanding. On the receiving front, 89 catches, 1,200 yards, 10 tutties for Kadarius Toney, 1,100 yards, 7 touchdowns, Sterling Shepard. Kenny Golladay almost went over 1,000, which is decent, all things considered. How terribly his first year with the Giants went in real life. And Colin Johnson adapting nicely to tight end, 61 catches, 669 yards, 6 touchdowns. On the defensive side of the ball, Micah McFadden, the rookie out of Indiana, led our linebacking room. 149 tackles, 3 interceptions. Well, for him to maybe potentially go up a dev trait. Interceptions, fairly disappointing. We are running a 3-4, and 3-4 more often than not is absolutely garbage in the sim. That is pretty brutal for Kayvon Thibodeau. I don't know. Do we switch them to a 4-3? Do we find a better... Maybe I just got to find like a good 3-4 defensive playbook that the guys actually like play up to their... But I mean, those aren't ridiculously wrong numbers. It's not like Leonard Williams is double digit. Like, that's a solid year for Leonard Williams. It's just more so we got to get Thibodeau going here. That is not nearly good enough. Looking at the yearly awards. Wow. Kyler Murray, the Oompa Loompa, is the MVP in the NFC Offensive Player of the Year goes to Cooper Kupp. Defensive goes to Cameron Jordan. Offensive Rookie of the Year goes to Drake London. Defensive Rookie of the Year goes to Micah McFadden. So he's going to be looking to get off that normal dev up to a star. We have, for the rest of the awards, unfortunately, no more Giants, but massive shout out to Micah McFadden for an outstanding rookie season and a likely dev trait. Oh yeah, baby. Oh yeah, let's spend these points. We'll pump him right into field general. That is what he's going to be. He's taking over for Blake Martinez. Oh! What? Goes up star dev just cuz. He goes up star dev because of his stats, because of how he performed. Goes up superstar dev because he's defensive rookie of the year. Let's go. The 2022 Super Bowl is the Chiefs beating the Cowboys. We'll take that. As long as we are doing an NFC East rebuild, we do not want to see Dallas winning any Super Bowls. And as we clean out our lockers, as far as dev traits are concerned, Evan Neal popped with a superstar from the rookie class, was outstanding. Saquon goes from star up to a superstar where he rightfully belongs. And on the defensive side of the ball, we had no regression. I was really worried that Thibodeau might lose his dev, but everyone that had a dev carried their dev, and Micah McFadden goes up to a new superstar. That's awesome. So here's what we're looking at free agency. We had a decent amount of money to throw around. I'm going to look at Muti. I'm going to try to slide him into center. It might not be the most realistic, but we actually, our biggest upgrade I think we need outside of quarterback is center, and I've used Eric McCoy in a couple of rebuilds now. So I'm like, well, give me something that's like a little bit more upsidey, that's a little bit different. So I'm going to get Muti, and we'll slide him into center, or, you know, even whoever is there at left guard, Tyree Phillips potentially. I did actually think about Odell, maybe like reuniting there, but I think, you know, even though the coaches has changes, I think the front office, you know, the owner, it's probably unlikely. So we're going to look at Devin Bush to come in and play alongside Micah McFadden for our two middle linebackers. And then Dawson Knox, I think if he hits the open market, Brian Dable absolutely would try to bring him over. They work together with the Buffalo Bills. And even though I'd like to continue the development of Colin Johnson, this one here also makes just a little bit too much sense. Plus, he is a superstar dev. So we should be able to get all three of these guys. I'm not overly worried that we'll miss out, and we do. And for our last piece of business before the draft, we are going to pick up our fifth-year option on our, hopefully continues to develop, he looks like he's going to get there, franchise left tackle Andrew Thomas. I don't really like the board here at 16, so I'm going to look to trade back a couple spots with the New England Patriots and pick up an additional second and future seventh. So there was a run on quarterbacks, had to move up 3 spots, gave a third to the Colts. Maybe I overpaid a little bit, but I have to, you know, there was a couple QBs I thought might fall into our lap there. Unfortunately, Anthony Richardson just went to the Bucs. They got their true Brady successor. I'm sure he's going to absolutely rip it up. That's going to be annoying to deal with. But we're kind of down to our last 2 quarterbacks. We have Tyler Van Dyke of Miami, who comes out as a second, third round talent, and Will Levis from Kentucky. I mean, you could even consider Tanner McKee right now as a first rounder, but Will Levis is kind of the quarterback I was thinking about. 6'3", 230. Just recently in real life, and I don't really want to talk about it, outdueled Anthony Richardson in the Kentucky-Florida game. Richardson actually looked pretty terrible, to be honest with you. It was a bad game. Thought the game plan was absolutely horrific. But when you look at Will Levis, he is arguably going to have the best arm talent in the draft. So from that standpoint, from the similarities to Josh Allen, he's not quite the athlete that Josh Allen is, but that 94 throw power, that is an excellent starting point. For trading, I want to move up in the second round because there's a corner that we've identified that looks really good. And corner is really the other position I wanted to try to land a day one contributor outside of quarterback. So we're going to give up our second, fourth, and seventh, future second, current fourth, to move up with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And Malachi Moore just went. He was one of our top targets at corner. I really had 2. It was between Malachi Moore and Tony Grimes. And Tony Grimes is actually still on the board here. So that is who we are going to select. Out of North Carolina, 6'1". We got B-zone, A-press, B-man. So that looks outstanding. The combine first in the 40-yard dash, top 5 in the 3-cone and 20-yard shuttle. That is exactly what you want to look for, and he popped with a hidden dev. Now looking at pick 16, I kind of need a lineman here. I'm not too sure. We got tackles that we have left on the board. I'm really thinking between one of these two. Harrison might not have the length and size to be able to move into guard, even though I think he might have the higher ceiling. Let's take a look at the combine here. We also have another second-round pick still available. He had the most bench, which is kind of a good sign that he can make that transition, because it means he's an absolute powerhouse. Duncan also looks fairly solid. We're looking for a right guard here. There's someone that can upgrade over Glowinski. We'll go. We have a little bit more knowledge on Harrison, so that we'll pull the trigger here. And he pops with a hidden dev. Let's go. All right, we need a wideout to kind of finish out our premium picks. Man, Bengal hates Jordan Addison. That is, he did not apparently test well. All right. Well, what do we got? We got Cornelius Johnson, Raheem Jack. Cornelius Johnson looks like he has the better stats. 6'3". All right, sure. Damn it. Hopefully, at least pulls close to a 70 overall. So take a look at our draft recap. I'm happy. We popped a couple guys with dev traits. That's about all you can ask. We have our new, hopefully, franchise quarterback, Will Levis, 74 with the hidden dev. We got Tony Grimes, 74 with the hidden dev. Anton Harrison, we're going to kick into guard, most likely, 73 with the hidden dev. Cornelius Johnson was our first normal dev, and that kind of, it was a trend. We closed it out with all straight normal devs here. But, yeah, still take 73, 73, 74, 74. That is very good. And this, hopefully, will be our true successor to Eli Manning, Will Levis. That 94 throw power, goddamn, man. He should be fun. He should be good in this stable scheme. Year 2, the first game of the Will Levis era is at home against our divisional rival, Washington Commanders. And you know we're going to be hopping on the sticks here to see what this era has in store. I am hoping for nothing less than a great performance. 300 yards passing sounds, doable. Pretty doable. It's not like they have an outstanding secondary or anything like that. They're not bad, but this is what our team looks like. So offensively, we got a new quarterback in Will Levis. We have a new center in Muti who's, we got punished by just trying to do basic Madden offensive line shuffling. He was like a 73, 74 guard, moved down to a 70 center, so you took that hit, but we're going to develop him as a center. Hopefully he keeps that dev trait. Harrison, who we drafted as a tackle, is going to slide in to be our starting right guard. Dawson Knox comes over, and I think he's going to be a big part of Dable's offense. You know how to use him from his time with Buffalo, and I think he's going to thrive here. Defensively, not a lot of changes at all. Front three is the exact same. Linebacking core, we have a new superstar, Micah McFadden. Devin Bush comes over via free agency, and Tony Grimes is going to be our slot corner here this season. But all in all, we got, 9 wins last year? I think that really, we'll go 7 wins just because I think it might be too much pressure here in year 2 to make and commit to a goal of making the playoffs, but we should be able to crush this. Oh no, I haven't been recording! God damn it, man. I got 2 passing touchdowns, Will Levis. And there's an incompletion. Oh my god. Of course I suck now that the cameras are on. Fuck! Here we go. Gets pummeled, but at least we can complete a pass here. Now I gotta make up. We got 2 touchdowns that will never see the light of day. Let's try to get another 2 here. Well, I'll catch you guys up. We had a passing touchdown to Dawson Knox. We had actually a ridiculous touchdown run by Saquon Barkley. And help me out! Somebody, please, for the love of God, help me out. And there's a pick. Trust me, we were doing good before, okay? I'm not having performance anxiety. Promise. There we go. There we go, Galladay! That should be enough to see this one over the line. Third and goal. We are in field goal range, but get in, yes! It's over! And that is a hell of a rookie debut. Will Levis, 298 yards, 3 touchdowns on the day as the Giants start the season out 1-0. Oh my God, we were like, what, 2 yards shy of getting the 300 we needed. Right before it's time to talk about contract extensions, we got a breakout for Will Levis, looking to go up to a superstar dev, which kind of spoils what his dev trade is. It still wasn't unveiled, but you got to get 350 scrimmage yards or 4 total touchdowns against, oddly enough, the team that we beat in our opening game of the year, the Commanders. Let's see what he can do. It's not too often you get that rookie quarterback breakout scenario. We win 35-17. And any thoughts on the play you got to Will Levis? Not too much. We hope you had womp womp. Luckily, we have $114 million of salary cap because there are 7 players I would really like to ideally sign. First up, we'll get Xavier McKinney on a 4-year deal. Still think that he is yet to really scratch the surface on his ceiling. I think Leonard Williams, that's actually an interesting one. We'll wait and see how he plays. Last year, he was our best pass rusher. I just think, 3 years is, let's sign everyone else first. Adoree Jackson, 27 years old, interested in re-signing, so we'll give him a 3-year deal. We have Dex Lawrence on the defensive line. I think he's one of the more underrated players on this team. Actually, I'll give him a very player-friendly deal. We'll give him for 5 years, and we got him locked up. We had to overpay because he wasn't overly interested in re-signing. Darnay Holmes, maybe this is a little bit of bias because I was such a fan of him coming out of UCLA. I really don't want him to go anywhere. I think him, Tony Grimes, Adoree Jackson can be a nice secondary for us. We got Raekwon Davis at D tackle. I'd rather get Tyree Phillips first, just on the offensive line. We'll get him a 4-year deal. See, we'll take that 4 years, $10 million. Hopefully, he does not lose that dev trait. You'd hate to see a dev trait lineman have to leave. Raekwon Davis, we did trade for him, which also we don't have a whole lot of incentive because the guy we gave up probably wasn't getting re-signed. Anyways, we'll give him a 2-year deal. He will take that. And last is Leonard Williams. Now, the question just comes, are we going to be able to get an upgrade? So that's why I'm going to kind of wait and see. If Leonard Williams plays well this year, then I'm going to reward him for being our best pass rusher the last 2 years of this rebuild. If he's just kind of average, I feel like the open market might have a better upgrade for our front 3 over Leonard Williams. Year 2, first year Will Levis era. We reached our goal, 7-10. I would have liked to see us be better, but look, we went from a top 10 rushing offense to 22nd somehow, so we just didn't get Saquon involved, and then we're just going to ignore the fact that Anthony Richardson did what we all expected he would do when we saw him go the pick right before us to the Bucs. 5,500 yards, 54 touchdowns for a rookie. Great to know that we had to compete with that to win a Super Bowl. Will Levis was still good. 9th in passing yards, 7th in touchdowns, 4,700 yards, 37. Better than Daniel Jones. So that's a good starting point. Running the ball, 1,300 yards, 16 touchdowns for Saquon. Honestly, not that bad. I was expecting it to be a little bit worse. 1,300 yards, 8 touchdowns for Sterling Shepard. 11 and 12 for Kadarius Toney. Just shy of 900 yards, 6 tutties for Kenny Galladay. 7 and 6 for Dawson Knox. On the defensive side, Micah McFadden, back-to-back years, leads our team in tackles. Also had 7 TFLs, 2 sacks, 2 picks. Devin Bush, the newcomer. 116 tackles for him, 5 TFLs, 2.5 sacks. 8 sacks for Ojulari, 7.5 for Leonard Williams, 4.5 for Thibodeau. My God, just get some pressure. Figure it out. MVP goes to Lamar Jackson. Somehow Will Levis finishes ahead of Anthony Richardson. Somehow. That's cool. Cooper Kupp, Offensive Player of the Year. Defensive Player of the Year goes to Aaron Donald. Bryce Young. There's got to be a glitch. That's the only way. It's glitched. There's no way you have 50-some hundred yards, 55 touchdowns. You come 7th in Offensive Rookie of the Year. 0% chance. There's something going on there. We don't have any award winners. Have you ever seen anything like that? What is going... it has to be. There's just something not registering. Maybe the fact that he had 27 interceptions might... that's a Jameis Winston-esque level of turnovers. But just ridiculous. Year 2 Super Bowl, the Raiders avenged that Super Bowl from the John Gruden Super Bowl from way back. And they figured out how to stop Anthony Richardson. So kudos to that. Taking a look at our team, we only have bad news, though, as it relates to dev traits. Unless I'm missing someone that I didn't know, I think we only lost devs. On the offensive side of the ball, Will Levis's hidden dev came out as a star. Harrison's dev came out as a star. Dawson Knox regressed from a superstar down to a star. Honestly, I didn't even think he had that bad of a year. And on the defensive side of the ball, I don't think we had any dev traits up or down. Tony Grimes had a hidden dev, and it got unveiled as a star dev. But I mean, look at where we're going to get better. I mean, I'm going to say, like, we have enough money. Like, let's let Leonard Williams hit the open market. If we have to bring him back, so be it. But let's see if we can get an upgrade there on the defensive line. And I think, honestly, our defense still has a little upside. It's just going to be growing pains as we let them develop. Maybe we look at, like, a splash play at wide receiver. Potentially, Galladay's hitting his ceiling. Sterling Shepard's already starting to regress. So if there's, like, a big-time wide receiver upgrade, maybe that's something we can look at as well. And we kind of get what we're looking for, at least the roll of the dice in free agency. Versus Gabe Davis, much like Dawson Knox. If the guy hits the open market, you need wide receiver from his time in Buffalo. I can see Dable trying to target him. And then we got Jeff Simmons on the defensive line. And I feel like, I mean, let's give him this player-friendly deal, obviously. That's what I like to offer him. Come on. Okay, cool. Yep, don't care about that. Sign with me! Fuck you! All right, consolation prize. I've used Ed Oliver before in a rebuild, but it keeps the Buffalo Bills tie to Brian Dable, and I've never used him as a 3-4 defensive end, which I think would be kind of interesting to use him in that role. If we can land him, I don't know. He does. He picks familiarity. Maybe you like Dable from his time in Buffalo. Lastly, this could be Gator bias. I do think the sense is amongst Giant fans, you're kind of sick of the player, but I like him. So we're going to pick up the 5th-year option on Kadarius Toney. So coming into the draft, I did a lot of scouting on wide receivers, and that was before I knew Gabe Davis was going to be available. And we could still go, if we don't go wide receiver, just because that's where we have our most knowledge, it would be nose tackle. See if we can get an upgrade over Raekwon Davis. You know, Medlock looks like he might be the best, and he's not really a scheme fit. Then you look at, like, pass rusher, straight up pass rusher. Don't have a whole lot of information to, like, pick any of these guys with, like, any level of confidence. Like, hey, Sammy Holiday got all those B's at the top, but that F zone coverage not overly important. The combine not particularly great. So I just feel like we got to go with the best player available, and this might be our first chance at one of these, like, you know, 80-some. Look at this guy. Gerald Jackson out of Central Florida. 6'5", 225, B catching traffic, A catching, A deep route running, A release, and he has 4.4 speed. Combine is not crazy, but a 43-inch vertical. Let's just grab the crazy freaky player. You know, 99 jumping. What the hell? We had to move, you know, at least one guy out of our wide receiver room. Oddly enough, the Bears had the first overall pick in the 2nd round, so we're able, because they're still hurting for wide receivers, to send Kenny Golladay and our 3rd round pick this year to get a 2nd rounder, because we originally didn't have a 2nd rounder because of last year. Man, I almost kind of wish we didn't get Gabe Davis. Still have a top 5 in true talent wideout here. Tommy Saunders. I mean, the key ratings don't look too bad, but the combine screams this guy is going to be hidden dev, maybe even a superstar. I can't do it. Can't do it. We got to go somewhere else. It's a tough call. I think what I'm least considering right now is that we can move Dex Lawrence into nose tackle. So we have Tom Harris, 6'5", 320. Kind of like for like, A tackle, B power, B block shed. Has 39 reps into the bench press, which is, you know, it's usually a good indicator that they're going to be a solid player. But I'm also conflicted because Ricky Medlock from Alabama looks very nice as well. We just don't have as much information. 6'2", 295, so he would kick out to a 3-4 defensive end. B block shed, B power move. The combine is also pretty damn good. We'll go this guy. God damn it. All right, before we look at our draft class, I got to look at the misses. First up was Tommy Saunders, a normal dev. That's what I like to see. 98 speed, 97. I mean, outstanding looking player. Would be perfect for like a pink slips. But I just, you know, we're more so at this point. Let's just make sure we didn't miss out on any like superstars. Tom Harris was the D lineman we were considering. Of course, he has it. I knew I should have went with him. Please just be a star so I can live with my life. Please just be a star. Thank you very much. And let's meet our draft class. The rest of the draft was pretty butt cheeks. I really hated my scouting after the 2nd round. Medlock comes out 72, which is a decent rating if you're going to be normal dev. But our highest draft pick so far in any rebuild, Gerald Jackson, 81. He's 83 just by being in our system, in our scheme. I just hope that's like an X factor. I would love for that to be an X factor. It's not one of those crazy ones. I know you can get guys that are like 84, 85, 86. but 6'5", 225 with 93 speed, 99 jumping. The skill set this guy has is absolutely incredible. Wide receiver 1 potential for this offense. Gabe, we'll have to go Gabe Davis, wide receiver 2. Kadarius Toney, Sterling Shepard got to compete for those slot routes, even though Sterling Shepard at this point, he's just the veteran. He's the classy veteran. He's your Victor Cruz, if you will. Gerald Jackson has a chance to be something special. What a monster. Let's go! If you know, you know. Year 3 for the New York Giants. Year 2 of the Will Levis era. We're going to go ahead and make Jerry Jackson here our wide receiver 1. Yeah, that's probably our best course of action. Got Saquon, Gabe Davis coming over free agent, Kadarius Toney in the slot, and the veteran Sterling Shepard. And I actually brought in Sammy Watkins, guys, mentor tags that can help grow and develop the young guys ahead of them. Same thing for Bortles, got the mentor tag, so to get some extra XP for Will Levis. Offensive line comes back the exact same. Dawson Knox at tight end. Defensively, a little bit of change. We are going to go Dex Lawrence. I'll keep him there. We'll go Raekwon at nose tackle. Ed Oliver coming over, though, at defensive end. Hopefully can help us get a little bit more pressure after the quarterback. Rest of the defense is exactly the same. And our expectations here for year 3, given the talent that we have, this is a team base rating of an 85. We're gonna be a little ambitious here. Our goal in year 3 is to make the playoffs. Mid-season contract extensions for year 3, it's fairly top-heavy here. Really, the only 2 players we would consider. One is Azeez Ojulari, who has no interest in re-signing, and honestly, from a developmental standpoint, he does have a ceiling, but he's done nothing. He's not taken off. He's not elevated anybody. I really do think, again, like open market edge rusher would be our best bet here, or maybe looking at the draft. It looks like a couple actually good 3-4 outside linebackers. So we'll absolutely extend Andrew Thomas here. We'll give him a player-friendly deal, get him locked up for 4 years. There's our franchise tackle. After a monster game against the Dallas Cowboys, we have a breakout scenario for Will Levis. Again, second time in this rebuild, he's had an opportunity to get off that start and go up to a superstar. Week 11, just rocked the Cowboys 38-35 in a shootout. Will Levis, 4 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown. And he has an opportunity, if he could put together a good game here at home against the Cleveland Browns. We are 6-4, trying to get our 7th victory of the year. And we get that. We put up 42. We might actually have it. The points are there for this to make sense. Come on. I want a superstar quarterback. What do we got? Come on. Oh, that's not. I don't think this is what we're looking for. God damn it. And at the end of year 3, fuck the Cowboys. They must have won like 4 in a row. We had like a 3-game buffer. It's just, it is what it is. We all know why Dallas is good in the sim, okay? We know. Put it this way, I know more than a lot of people, and like that is very a tinfoil hat thing to say. But I would say, what goes without saying about the Dallas Cowboys in Madden. I don't know, man. I feel like something weird goes on. Anyways, taking a look at how things are broken down. We go 11-6, which is still a really good record. 88 overall, we're up to it, and I need to show off something, which some of you guys would have known from the very beginning, but if you don't know, Jerry Jackson is an X factor, up to an 86, and he had a monster season. Absolute monster season. 101 catches, 1,400 yards, 8 touchdowns. I would mean like a little bit more in terms of the touchdown department, but absolutely playing like an X factor, which is what we needed on the offensive side of the ball. Look at the rest of the team. I'm going to assume Will Levis had a huge year. Pretty good. Might go up dev. Probably should go up dev. 4,900 passing yards, 42 touchdowns to 14 interceptions. 1,600 yards, 16 touchdowns. Saquon. We saw Jackson's stat line. 1,000 yards, 12 touchdowns for Shepard. 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns for Gabe Davis. Really, Kadarius Toney was the only guy that unfortunately didn't get to eat too much. So that's probably because Gabe Davis and Jackson were the outside. Sterling Shepard beat out Kadarius Toney for the slot reps. The veterans still have a presence on our offense. Defensively, Devin Bush on the team with 121 tackles. We got 10.5 sacks, 14 TFLs from Ed Oliver. Finally starting to get some production out of Kayvon Thibodeau with 9.5 sacks there. Interceptions, still don't really have a prolific ball hawk, but the unit was solid. MVP goes to Dak, who gives a shit. Gross, you suck. You're not better than Will Levis, who comes 8th. Offensive player there goes to Cooper Kupp. Defensive player there goes to Chase Young. Offensive rookie there goes to Gerald Jackson. There's nowhere for him to go, though. That's a wasted dev trade opportunity. Don't need it. Dak is quarterback of the year. We got Mark Glowinski. Did he even play? He did not play. There's no way he played. Unless the computer is like auto-setting depth chart, he did not play over Harrison. What? How did my backup right guard... Let me see the snap here. How did my backup right guard get lineman of the year? Let me see this. Unreal. Okay, well, we're in the playoffs. Opportunity here against a team that's below 500. With how this year's already gone, I'm sure we know how that result's going to go. And of fucking course it does. Oh, look who's there, Dallas. I just kind of went on a rant, just put it this way. It goes to the playbooks. At least Kansas City and Tampa warrant having a good playbook. Dallas, even if you're the most homer Dallas Cowboy fan, you're not going to say Mike McCarthy's offensive scheme should be lighting up the world of Madden. And we'll just leave it at this, because hopefully we don't see that. We got 2 more years. Hopefully the Giants can take over. But if we know that like playbooks can heavily influence how well people play, what would it take to just make sure Dallas's playbook's really good, regardless? You know what I'm saying? That's as far as we'll go. Looking at our offense as we close things out, Will Levis is up to a superstar, which is outstanding. That is exactly what we're looking for his development after his breakout year. For the rest of the team, no other dev traits up or down, which is good on the offense anyway. Defensively, McFadden lost his superstar. That was good and fun while it lasted. Everyone else at least maintains their dev trait. Thought Ed Oliver might have had a chance to go up to superstar, but guess not. It's a rough free agency period. I mean, there's some great free agents there. Chubb, Jefferson, Kyle. I was thinking about Kyle Pitts, but we already spent big money on Dawson Knox, and he's been solid. But it's like, all right, you need running back or wide receiver? No. There's like no, Azeez Ojulari is the top edge rusher available. So I think at this point we'll go to the draft so that we save that money in case there's like a big year 5 Super Bowl or bust edge rusher that we can go out and get. We will, however, handle a little bit of business this offseason before the draft and pick up the 5th-year option for pass rusher Kayvon Thibodeaux. And if you're going to do it for Thibodeaux, clearly we're going to go ahead and, yeah. We kind of lucked out here a little bit. Our top target still on the board at pick 22. We need our Azeez Ojulari replacement. And we're going to take a look here at Colin Coleman out of Michigan State. A pursuit, B tackle, B block set. We're not getting anything that's really going to help us out here as it relates to, his pass rushing ability. We got B block set, I suppose. But the combine looks really good. Should be a solid player. Likely will pop a dev trait, which he does. Look at that 89 acceleration, terrific burst off the line of scrimmage. And in the second round, really the only other draftable player is DeAndre Creighton that we had on our board out of Iowa. He pops with a hidden dev 90 strength, and for our scheme, he'll be moved out to a defensive end. Here's a look at our draft recap. Really could be the final draft that guys can come in and be true impact playmakers. We got Colin Coleman in the first round of pick 22. I'll take 75 hidden dev all damn day. He is going to see if he can really, succeed Azeez Ojulari. We got DeAndre Creighton, 73. He also pops with a hidden dev. And then, I set my favorites, and usually if you just set them out, and if you don't want to just sit through the rest of the draft, the computer will prioritize your favorites. And, usually when I do this, I just go by combine. Tic-tac the guys that look like they're going to have great combines. And in the 4th round, we got this guy, Thaddeus Miles, 6 feet tall, 223, out of Utah with a hidden dev. And he was just more so, had the good base stats and a good combination of speed with that 91 speed. He was in the low 4.4s or something like that, and ends up being a nice compliment. He's not going to really play a whole lot. He's behind Saquon Barkley, but anytime you get a 76 in the 4th round, you can feel kind of good about that. No one below. I don't think we've yet to draft anybody that's in the 50s, so let's keep that streak going. If you know, you know. I'm not going to spoil the fun. We're just going to preemptively, on this defense, shuffle it around a little bit. We're going to take Dex Lawrence. He's like 330. Should have no problem moving in and being our nose tackle. And we're going to go with this rookie, who I think has a pretty high ceiling. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to make him, hopefully, the 1-2 punch with Ed Oliver that we so desperately need to be able to, start lighting up the stat sheet. Man, that is very low. That's a surprisingly low rating. Obviously, it shifted a little bit moving to defensive end for a player that might have an incredibly high ceiling. But, yeah, I mean, here's our team going into year 2. Might as well show it right here in the preseason. We're at 88 overall. Our goal is playoffs. We got to make the playoffs. On the offensive side of the ball, not a whole lot of changes. We got, well, maybe a full year of Will Levis as a superstar quarterback. And hopefully his tandem, his electrifying playmaking ability with Jackson continues to absolutely light the league on fire. But the offense is ready to go. The offense is ready to win. Defensively, excited with the dudes that we have here now. I want to see if Coleman can, the combo of shifting decks inside, Creighton and Coleman, can we get these pass rush that has been underwhelming really for the majority of this rebuild here in year 4? Right now, I'm taking a fucking stand. I'm over this. Home team, away team, away team, away team, home team. We'll kick their ass. Home team. I'm sick and tired of them winning all the time. It's stupid. They suck. They suck. Anyways, back to our squad. How do we want to handle business here? I mean, I kind of like the success story of Micah McFadden, and I feel like if we want to splurge on an upgraded linebacker, we can move on from Devin Bush. Micah McFadden's kind of like our Rodrigo from the Lions rebuild we did not too long ago. I also like Kadarius Toney. I'll pay. We just have so much money. This is just my Gator bias saying, why not? Let's have him here. Even from the standpoint of, he's not somewhere else. Oh, I feel so much better. Dallas, last place in the division. And I mean, we didn't even, we weren't really that good either. We get to find out right away who the best team in the NFC East is in the wild card round here. But my God, come on. Get over this Dallas fucking joke. Looking at our squad. Do we have any award winners? We do not. But that doesn't mean we didn't have any guys that went off. Will Levis, actually a little bit of a down year for him. 4,600 yards, 32 touchdowns, 10 picks. Saquon was solid, 1,500 yards, 17 touchdowns. He's been really consistent throughout this rebuild. Jackson continues to be an absolute monster. 100 catches, 1,400 yards, 10 touchdowns, 1,010 for Tony, 1,000 yards for Gabe Davis. And on the defensive side of the ball, Mike McFadden leads the team in tackles. We got 10.5 sacks, Ed Oliver, 8 from DeAndre Creighton, who is a X Factor. That was our second superstar X Factor of the rebuild. And it's not like, he was anything can't miss. I just thought he was a solid player, all things considered, and he ends up being an absolute monster. Dex Lawrence had a good year. Dex Lawrence actually had his best year moving into D-tackle. Maybe that's something worth monitoring. If you guys are watching this and you're thinking, well, I'm going to want to play the Giants rebuild at some point, maybe move Dex Lawrence into D-tackle right away. It seems to be thriving in this scheme. 12 TFL, 6 sacks for Thibodeau. Interceptions, average. Yearly awards, MVP goes to Anthony Richardson in the NFC. CMC's Offensive Player of the Year. We got Aaron Donald. Creighton, again, much like our wide receiver last year, nowhere to go. Not going to go up dev, so we will just happily take the X Factor that he got. Makes me feel better as a drafter here a little bit. As this rebuild is unfortunately just felt like it's been so much Dallas Cowboy, we can't focus on the fact that we have drafted 2 superstar X Factors, and Will Levis has been crushing it for the most part. Can we get our first playoff victory? Use all of our pressure. We do! 35-24. I was going to say, it would not be super fun if we had all of that pressure on year 5 to not only go on a Super Bowl run, but look for our first playoff victory. The game wasn't even really that close. We got 10 points in the 4th after the game was already over. 4 touchdowns, 1 pick. Will Levis, 374 yards passing. Outstanding from him as we are now going on to the next round to take on the great Anthony Richardson. Even Anthony Richardson being as great as he is, you know what? I'll give credit where credit is due. When there is an impossible, there's no way they can win type playoff scenario. The Giants have historically been the team that punches well above their weight class. Can the 9-8 Titans, why am I calling them the Titans? The 9-8 Giants handle business. 38-35 sets up a very winnable game against the Falcons there to go on to the Super Bowl. That's why I'm saying Titans. Titans on the other side of the bracket. Okay, we'll watch out for them. But the Giants, look at that shootout. High-scoring game. We're not playing our best defense. But 38-35, 5 touchdowns. Wow, we forced 3 picks on Anthony Richardson. Will Levis has 9 touchdowns in our 2 playoff games. Who got those picks? We'll give them their flowers right here. Dory Jackson, Devin Bush, Julian Love, and we are a win away. I would love to be able to have that luxury, get the Super Bowl this year. Year 5 is what it is. Battle the 9 and 8s. Desmond Ridder against Will Levis, and we are in the Super Bowl, 31-14. The Giants do the damn thing. You know we're going to hop on, and we're going to see Will Levis go up against Lamar Jackson here in the Super Bowl. Before we get in, though, we're going to make our best players our best players. Creighton, our X-Factor rookie, got 2 points here for winning Defensive Rookie of the Year. We're going to invest those, even though it's not the scheme fit. Whatever, man. You make the scheme around this guy. You get a player of this caliber. He is going to game wreck. He is going to shut down Lamar Jackson. Single-handedly, he'll spy him and control him. Let's go, boys. Get this one over the line. We are the Giants. Did the Giants lose in the Super Bowl? Like, have they ever lost in the Super Bowl? They've definitely won a lot. About 3? Either way. Someone can look that up. Put that in the comments. I'll be looking through the comments if someone says the Giants lost Super Bowl, because I'll probably forget. We're doing pretty good. Up 28-14. It really just contained. Wow, 35. I'm seeing a lot of efficiency. I'm not seeing Lamar Jackson taking this game over. And what I am seeing is that we're going back in the win column for a successful rebuild as we absolutely dominate. I didn't even need to hop on the sticks. I didn't even need to be Will Levis to win this one. Back in the whites. Those are the jerseys they wore when they beat the Patriots undefeated season, right? Looks good. Dave, you know, was that David Tyree there or Kadarius Toney? Can't tell. Saquon, I guarantee. I'm going to say, actually, I can't. I want to say that Saquon went off, but Will Levis, 9 touchdowns in 2 games. I can only imagine he's your Super Bowl MVP. But a successful rebuild. This is about as excited as you'll ever see me about an NFC East team, not the Eagles, winning a Super Bowl. But we've done it the right way, and I absolutely love the fact that we've hit on two rookies, generated rookies that had X factors, and built around Will Levis, who started as a star, got him up to a superstar. What a freaking stud. And now we have year 5. There's no pressure. We've got our Super Bowl. Can we turn it into a little bit of a dynasty? Can we run it back? We have a whole lot of salary cap. We should be able to do Will Levis 5 passing touchdowns. What a monster. And there's a lot of ridiculous names here. I wasn't even going to sign anybody because I was like, all right, Ike Ekwonu, I need a guard. I need someone that over Tyree Phillips. He's like a 77. And Ike Ekwonu might project best as a guard. So I'll overpay and be like, hey, I know you want to get paid as a tackle. I'll pay you the same. I'll pay you the tackle rate. And you're going to come play guard for us. We'll see if we can get him. You know, we need a pass rusher potentially. And I was looking, we got Aiden Hutchinson. That's just a little too much for me right now, even though we have the salary cap to sign that. But you know, we just used a first round draft pick on one. You know what? Fuck it. He's here. It's realistic on the sense that he's there, and if I realistically had this amount of money, we'd be trying to load up on these guys and run it back for another Super Bowl. This is our window. So let's go. Top 5 picks from the 2022 draft. Ike Ekwonu, Aiden Hutchinson. Welcome to New York. I mean, we don't need a damn thing. We're just going to go with the value pick. You know, these are the guys that I want to keep drafting, the guys that are top 5, so I can get an idea of like, well, what makes this guy top 5? Is he going to have a rating? Is he going to have a dev trait? Because the combine doesn't look anything too great. I always like to, hey, look, you got his in dev. Maybe it'll be another superstar. And for our final draft, Weathersby actually ends up being unreal. He was a second, third round draft prospect. Got him in the first, reached for him. 76 with the hidden dev. We got a 70 tackle, 70 wide receiver in the 4th round, just kind of filling out our favorites board, if you will. Now, these guys are really going to play, but it'd be cool to run it up here with another high dev trait playmaker. All right, we'll go with the good luck. It's worked the last couple times when we go peek at the devs through the weekly training that it might be pretty good. But also worth noting that Miles, our 4th round hidden dev running back pick last year, superstar. The drafting has been cracked in this rebuild. Damn, unfortunately not. I mean, they could be superstar. We don't know. If it's an X factor, that question mark will show their ability. But the fact that we've drafted straight up a superstar player in that running back, 2 X factors, the wide receiver and the D tackle. Man, this is set up to be an all-timer. The pace has been set for success in drafting in a rebuild here in this Giants video. So here is our defending Super Bowl champion, year 5, Madden 23 realistic rebuild New York Giants. 87 overall Will Levis. Saquon, we got, Awesome. 6'5", 2. I mean, I don't even know. You can't even compare. Like Megatron, maybe. Freak of nature, Gerald Jackson, X Factor, and he was X Factor from the womb. Okay, straight from the draft. You know, we got Kadarius Toney still here. We have, you know, furnished this team a little bit through free agency. Gabe Davis, Dawson Knox followed Dable over from the Buffalo Bills. We traded for, did we trade for? No, we signed Muti, and obviously Ike Ekwonu, Aiden Hutchinson. Those are just, you know, throwing realistic out the window for the final year to see if we can run it back. You know, the rest of the O-line here have been developed, maintained. Defensively, again, excluding Hutchinson, you know, developed McFadden, you developed Thibodeau, McKinney and Lovett, safety, you know, developed these guys, developed our corners, defensive line, almost all in-house. Ed Oliver, at least continuing the trend of following Dable from the Buffalo Bills. So I think, generally speaking, outside of really the last two free agents signing, Icky and Hudson, done this rebuild the right way. It's successful, but let's see if this little bit of fun. We had so much salary cap. Let's try to do everything in our power to make this a dynasty and win 2 straight Super Bowls. See if that pans out, because that is going to be our goal this year. Year 5, it's not Super Bowl or bust, but it kind of is. That is going to be the pressure we're going to apply to this Giants squad. Let's get another Super Bowl. Man, I don't think we won one divisional title in this rebuild. I mean, that's the Giant way, right? Win the Super Bowl and never really be an elite team. Even though we are very much an elite team from a rating standpoint, 93 overall. We go 11-6, second place in the division behind the Commies for the NFC East title. Taking a look at our squad. Will Levis. Whoa, what? There's no way. What are these stats? These are like mid-season stats. Okay. I've never seen that bug before. Maybe that's what something like when you just sim to the playoffs right away, they don't update. But Will Levis crushed it. 5,400 yards, 43 touchdowns, 18. Maybe the interception's a little high, but he got loose with the football. He's trying to get paid this offseason. Luckily, we don't have to pay him in this video. 1,500 yards, 15 touchdowns for Saquon, 10 touchdowns for Thaddeus Miles. On the receiving standpoint, Kadarius Toney finally has his little bit of a breakout. Knew it was worth keeping him around. 112 catches, 1,500 yards, 17 touchdowns. 12-6 for Gerald Jackson, 11-7 for Gabe Davis. 700 yards there for Dawson Knox. Defensively, Micah McFadden leads the team as he has pretty much every year in this rebuild in tackles. 8.5 sacks, Thibodeau. 6.5, Ed Oliver. Ugh. Creighton's probably losing that X factor. Perfect time for the rebuild to be ending, as Micah McFadden leads the team in interceptions. We have the number 1 offense in the NFL. MVP goes to Anthony Richardson. Will Levis in at number 8 in the NFC. Offensive Player of the Year, Cooper Kupp. I feel like Cooper Kupp's won it every year. For individual awards, just sleeping on the Giants. But at least we have an opportunity here in year 5 to defend our Super Bowl title. Up first is the 10-7 Seattle Seahawks. Don't be one and done. And we absolutely crushed them 31-0, setting up a matchup against the 1 seed, the Detroit Lions. They must have got themselves a quarterback. But pitching a shutout, I want to see, did we get like a bunch of picks or anything? We didn't. Just controlled it. Ran the Saquon, gets the game ball, absolutely crushed it. And he's like one of those guys, Saquon, that like I really want to get in like pink slips. I don't know how I'm going to get it. But like, there's certain players that I'm a big fan of. I think they'd be so fun and mad. I've just never played with them. Like I had that for Kyle Pitts for him. That's another video. All right, we got to lock in here. We got the 12-5 Detroit Lions, who, speaking of, have Kyle Pitts. Pretty good team. I think our defense probably going to be the difference maker in that. They don't have Aiden Hutchinson. We did have Aiden Hutchinson. We still 10 points? Put up 10 points, dude? Unreal. All these guys on offense, and it's Doug Ramsey out of Alcorn State. Isn't that like a HBCU? They got a little bit more, I don't know what. Jesus, man, that's how it ends? Let's at least look at some stats to go on a high note here. All in all, successful rebuild, but that's disappointing. There we go, the stats, final stats updated. For Will Levis to be that good, and then in the biggest game of the season to defend our Super Bowl. The number 1 offense in the NFL gets 10 points against an Aiden Hutchinson list because we stole him. Detroit Lions defense. Hate to see it. All right, through you know, his career so far to this point, 4 years, 5 years. Will Levis, 19,000 passing yards, 154 touchdowns, 52 picks. Pretty good pace that's been set there. Saquon is over 10,000 yards rushing and 100 touchdowns. He has definitely been probably the most consistent player throughout this rebuild. Kadarius Toney, I mean, Gabe Davis did some damage with the Bills, so we can't really chalk those stats up to our team. But 5,500 yards, 50 touchdowns for Kadarius Toney. We got 4,000 yards, 24 touchdowns for Gerald Jackson, who is an absolute monster. Probably one of my favorite prospects. Maybe my favorite prospect that we've drafted so far. Just because 6'5", 225 with 99 jump. Just absurd stats. From a tackle standpoint, we got Julian Love, who went up dev trade real early. He has over 600 tackles and 11 picks. Micah McFadden, who's maybe been the story of the defense. Kind of went as like a 66 normal is what he started as. Went up to a superstar as high. That was his peak. He finishes with 600 tackles, 12 sacks, 29 TFLs, 10 picks. We got, I'd say Thibodeau was pretty disappointing, all things considered. The scheme did not really play into his favor to put up big-time sack numbers. Has to be said. 11 picks there. I mean, what did the other X Factor get? Again, another player, just Creighton, X Factor, drafted him. Feels like he should have done a little bit better, all things considered. But we won a Super Bowl. This goes down as a successful rebuild. And Will Levis did the damn thing. And this is going to be the staple, the benchmark of drafting rebuild. We drafted Superstar, Superstar X Factor, Superstar X Factor, a couple stars, thanks to Bengals draft class here on Xbox Next Gen. But Will Levis did all he could ask for, man. Brought us to a Super Bowl, played like an MVP candidate. I'm happy with it. So that will do it for today's rebuild, guys. As always, for all of our rebuilds, for all of our Madden 23 uploads, if we can crush 8,000 likes, it seems to make the YouTube robots healthy. It very much helps out my channel. So thank you guys for doing so. Make sure you leave a comment in the comment section below about what team you want to see rebuilt next. Every time, if you think I'm ignoring, I got like a little thing. I do like a tick every time I see some team getting momentum. That's a team that I want to do and get out to you guys as soon as possible. I will be back tomorrow with a new episode of Pink Slips. Don't miss it. And that'll do it for me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. As always, it's your boy C4 saying thank you for watching. Peace out. I love you. Have a good one.